Hello, Garnett Schulhauser. I wrote 5 spiritual books. Yes, okay. My life before Albert. As a Roman Catholic youngster in a religious home, I was an altar boy, served Mass, and did all the things Catholic boys do. After leaving home for university, I began to doubt several Catholic Church dogmas. Most of them didn't make sense, so I rejected them one by one. They were absurd. Thus, I was in limbo, seeking another faith. That's where I met Albert. As I said, I was a corporate lawyer and never went to court, but I was quite corporate lawyer in button-downs and stuffed shirts. I was arrogant, condescending, and atheist. I wasn't spiritual, but I was looking for it. In 2007, I was walking down the street when a homeless man appeared out of nowhere and blocked my path as I walked down the street. I had seen homeless folks panhandling on the street numerous times. Though he appeared like a homeless man, long stringy hair, scraggly beard, unclean, slept in clothes, I didn't go around him because of his magnificent, dazzling, shining blue eyes. His blue eyes penetrated my soul, and I felt like he knew everything about me. Everything I'd ever said or done, which was unusual considering I'd never met him. I didn't feel violated because his stare was giving me a wave of pure, unconditional love that was flooding my whole body with calm, security, and well-being. I was like a deer caught in the headlights, staring at this man and relishing in his pure, unadulterated love. Like a time warp, I don't remember how long I was there. He finally broke the hold by asking, "Why are you here?" and then disappeared into a nearby store. After gathering my thoughts, I decided to search the store for him. I needed to identify him. I entered the store, which had one entrance and exit. I went in, but he wasn't there or out. I returned to the street. I searched for him for several blocks, but found him nowhere. He was absent. As I returned to my office that night, I decided I had to find him. He intrigued people. I went back to locate him since I didn't know where he came from or how he knew about me. I searched the same street and time the next day for him. For 15 or 20 minutes, I walked up and down many blocks. I was about to give up when I saw him alone on a bench. I asked him, "Who are you, and why did you stop me the other day?" He said, "I'm a soul just like you. I'm here to answer your questions and help you on your journey." My skeptical lawyer brain kicked in, and I asked him, "Why do you think you can help me?" "Because you can't even help yourself. It looks like you've been sleeping on the street for weeks, and you smell like a dead fish." He smiled and said, "You know, looks can be deceiving, because you look like you're a very successful lawyer with everything under control, but we both know that's just a facade." He said, "If you want to turn around and go back to your office and see if you can find the answers to all those questions you've been asking yourself all these years, see if you can find those answers in all those emails from your clients on your computer." I knew I wouldn't. My intuition said, "You need to sit down and talk to this guy." I sat on the bench with him, and he informed me his name was Albert and that he was one of my spirit guides. As he claimed, he came here to answer my questions and support me on my path. We started talking at that street park bench. I started asking him about life's great questions, like who I am, why I'm here, what's my purpose, and what happens after I die. He answered all questions honestly. As soon as he started talking, I knew he was real. He told me the truth and was one of my spirit guides. He told me early on that he wasn't here to fulfill my curiosity, but to write a book about what he disclosed to me so everyone could read it. That surprised me because I never imagined writing a book. It was off my radar. That confused me, but I put it in the back of my mind and decided to keep talking to him. He appeared as the homeless man the first 3 times I saw him, and we talked then. After that, he communicated to me mentally. I didn't see him, but we spoke by telepathy, so that's how much of our chat went. I was surprised when he told me that only I could see him on the bench with him. I could see him, and when I touched him, he felt real like everyone else, but he said no one else could see him. If someone had been walking by the bench that first day I was chatting to him, they would have seen me sitting alone, obviously talking to myself because they couldn't see him. In any case, I asked him, "Why did you show up initially as the homeless man? Like, why did you manifest physically for me?" He said that if he had suddenly started talking to me by telepathy as a voice in my head, I would have thought I was going crazy. He added that appearing as the homeless man was his way of gradually initiating me into the conversation so that when he used telepathy, I recognized his voice and felt comfortable with it. So that made sense. As mentioned, he addressed all my queries and more. After our initial chats, he said, "Okay, now it's time to start writing the manuscript for your first book." He had informed me previously that I would write a book, which I wasn't sure about. He said, "Yeah, you've got to start writing the manuscript." I unwillingly did. I retired from law a year after meeting him, even though I didn't want to publish a book. He gently convinced me to write my first novel, Dancing on a Stamp. I took a while to finish, and then I had to decide. Should I put this in a drawer and lock it or publicize it? Because I never talked about spiritual or religious subjects, my former legal partners, clients, coworkers, and acquaintances would have been surprised to see me write this book. I was a strict corporate lawyer. I worried they would think I was senile. I struggled with that. After a while, I felt I had to make it happen because if I didn't publish it, I'd regret it forever. So I let the chips fall. I lost several friends, lovers, and colleagues, and some haven't spoken to me. They undoubtedly think I'm nuts. They haven't told me, but I expected it. The good news is that my book brought me many spiritually friendly people. Meeting Albert and writing that book improved my life greatly. After my first book was released, Albert disappeared. He emerged suddenly and differently. Something woke me up in bed. I sat up in bed and saw this ghostly figure at my bedroom doorway. When it got closer to my bed, I saw Albert's astral body on the astral realm. Perhaps you've seen someone in that form, but they're semi-transparent. I asked him, "Hi, Albert. What brings you here today or this night?" He replied, "I've come to take you on a series of astral trips, out-of-body experiences. I'll take you to the spirit side, other places on Earth, other places in the universe, because I want you to write about what you see and hear in your next books. And by the way, you're not done with one." "What can I say?" I answered. "Well, okay, fine. Lead the way." He snatched my astral hand from my physical body, pulled it out, and I turned around to look at my physical body, still asleep in bed. I went astral with Albert. He guided me through the roof by hand. Astral form allows you to pass through walls, roofs, and other obstacles because you're in a higher vibrational state. He took me through the roof and sky. He allowed me to turn around and stare at Earth from a high point above our world. It was breathtaking. In the dark space, our darling planet was like a diamond pendant. The sight was spectacular. I then followed him through a shimmering space portal. We entered the spirit world through it. We found a lush meadow, park with wildflowers and majestic trees. It was the most peaceful location I'd been. He led me up a short hill on a walkway. I saw a gathering of souls waiting at the foot of the slope from the top. As I approached, I recognized them, the souls of my mother, father, brother, aunts, uncles, grandmas, and grandpas, some of whom I hadn't seen on Earth. Albert stated this was a preview of what everyone will experience after death and entering the spirit world. He said this is a preview of your welcoming celebration, and every soul who crosses back to the spirit side will have a similar party with their deceased relatives, friends, and people they miss. I loved my mother, but I was frightened she would be furious with me since in my first novel, Dancing on a Stamp, I questioned the Catholic Church, and my mother was a devout Roman Catholic. After I hugged her, she said, "Do not be concerned about what you wrote in your book, because I'm on the spirit side. I can see the entire picture, and I recognize that what you said in your book was true. I'm not upset with you at all. Thank you for writing it. I felt great." My small schnauzer, Oscar, our first pet who had died a few years earlier, appeared from behind the crowd to surprise me. He ran to me, looking precisely like he did on Earth and wagging his stub tail vigorously. He honked and kissed my face in greeting. It was great. All of you who have lost pets should know that your pets will greet you at your welcoming party. That was amazing, the cherry on top. So there was my welcoming party preview. When I die from this incarnation, what happened with those same people will happen again, but I'll be there forever. I was only on a short astral excursion with my spirit guide. He said, "Come with me," and we proceeded toward a white metropolis with lofty structures, some with spires and domes. He dubbed it AGA, a spirit city. After inside the gate, the main boulevard looked like a costume ball as we walked down it. Human-like individuals wore clothes from numerous Earth ages. It was gorgeous and diverse. After earthly incarnations, souls can appear to other souls in any way they wish, Albert told me. He claimed they will often emerge in the shape and wear items from a lifetime on Earth, especially if they liked it. In 15th century England, 14th century India, or anywhere, they'll dress as they were. They can change their appearance anytime. He claimed some souls will arrive as energy balls. Our spirit nature is pure energy without gender or sex. He said you can always determine who other souls are because they have a distinct energy signature. My first spirit experience was incredible. My second, third, fourth, and fifth volumes are about my astral trips with Albert, occasionally to the spirit side, where I've met many great people from Earth. I've also spoken with angels and other spirits, who shared humanitarian wisdom that I was glad to incorporate in my works. Albert's first night with me started a sequence of astral journeys. I didn't know where we were going or what Albert would show me because he always had an agenda. He never told me when he was coming, so it was hit or miss. He wanted me to write about what I'd seen in my books, so he knew what to show me. This is how I met Albert and started the trip. He and the Council of Wise Ones on the spirit side say humanity is at a crossroads. Our spiritual and emotional intelligence has lagged behind our technological technology. Nuclear bombs, biological weapons, and chemical weapons may wipe out all life on Earth if released. He warns that humanity must be careful not to release these. The true problem with humanity is that too many powerful people let their negative emotions rule their lives or governments out of control. Anti-love emotions include fear, rage, hate, greed, and envy. To survive as a civilization without harming ourselves, we must embrace love and compassion and suppress our bad impulses. It's normal to feel unpleasant emotions, but the key is to suppress them and focus on love, compassion, and forgiveness instead of wrath, hate, and greed. That's humanity's biggest challenge. He's hopeful we'll get through this. It takes effort and isn't guaranteed. Individually, everyone can embrace love and compassion and spread it to others. If it works, our planet will have fewer wars, murders, and genocides. On any given day, the news reports war in Ukraine, Gaza, and horrific shootings, particularly in the U.S. Seeing such on the news is depressing, but there is hope. We must work at it to create a happy Earth for everyone, not just humans. Our treatment of animals worries him. He believes Earth is for everyone, not just humans, except that humans have abused other planets and animals during our time on Earth, and that must stop since animals have souls like humans. When a dog, cat, or other pet dies, its soul returns to the spirit world much like a human's. Because animals live simpler lives, he believes many humans may have been animals before. Because rabbit life is simpler than human life, you may choose it if you're new to the planet. Rabbits only care about where to eat and how to avoid being devoured by an eagle. Many souls start with a simpler life and then go up to a human life because ours is so complicated. We worry more than we should, but that's human nature. Therefore, we must love and care for all animals on Earth, as well as humans. His message is crucial, and I hope everyone can follow it. We must do that, even though it's hard. We must deal with it and minimize the situation as much as possible. Will there be a third world war? I doubt there will be a third world war. I asked Albert, but he won't say. He merely believes mankind will survive, which probably implies no third world war. People have free will, thus things can change. War could commence at any time by country leaders. We sometimes come near. Russia may initiate World War II due to the Ukraine situation, say some. I doubt they will, but that's my opinion. In any case, Albert has never told me about future events like that. He hasn't ruled out World War II, but he's sure we can overcome this hard period. Tell you anything else? I guess that ends it. Thank you for having me on your show. Will you upload the corrected version on YouTube? Have you something to say to our audience? My final message to the audience is what Albert told me. He said, "You're on a journey, a human journey on planet Earth. It doesn't last forever, and at the end of the day, you'll go back to the spirit side, which is a beautiful place that a lot of people call heaven. So you're just having a temporary journey on Earth. He said it's not an easy journey, but it's important not to take things so seriously because whatever happens on Earth, whether you're poor, injured, or handicapped, all gets left, he replied. Don't take things so seriously. It's important to smile a lot and laugh as much as you can because it's not going to last forever. We overcome suffering how? It's the thing. Too many people have negative feelings, causing misery. If they're poor, it's because too many people are selfish and want to retain all the money for themselves. We could feed the world if we wanted to. Many people are malnourished, don't have clean water or proper housing because we aren't sharing our money with others, not because of greed or unpleasant sentiments. Again, if we realize we must love and care for others, we'll be more generous in giving food, money, and other aid to those in need. However, many people need those items now. That software uses words and visuals to bring the client into a profound hypnotic trance, the theta level. The trance has two parts. The customer first regresses to the past. While hypnotized, the client will be transported to a past life. Their higher self decides where they go. But once inside, they're reliving pieces of that prior life. The client's prior incarnations could be past, parallel, or future. It's usually a prior life as a person on Earth, but I've had clients who regress to an alien life form on another planet, so it could be anywhere. Some of my clients have regressed to a prior life as an animal on Earth since souls can incarnate on Earth or other planets, so we don't know where they're headed. Since many customers are crying, they revisit pieces of their past and get emotional. They may be seeing tears of grief from a loved one's death or joy from their wedding or a child's birth. So they're reliving pieces of it, and their past life often relates to their present. There may be crucial former life participants like a husband, children, parents, relatives, or whatever in their current life. That connection helps customers comprehend their current key people and that there's a historical connection to a past existence. Sometimes the past life they're taken to shows that they left unresolved karma that has impacted their current life. If they're wondering why they're having trouble or conflict with others, it may be from a prior life they didn't resolve, so they have to face it again. They see a connection between their past and present, which is fascinating. After the former life regression, the second portion of the trance is the good part, where I invoke their higher self.